All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Brothers from Another Mother, where we talk about the trials and tribulations in everyday entrepreneurship. For those who don't know me, my name is Alex Maldonado.
And I'm Renee Atkinson. What's up, guys? Let's go.
How was the weekend, bro?
Bro, I had an amazing weekend, man. It was especially, I guess not important, but special because I got to spend it with my wife, and I don't always have that time, man. As a married, couple, as a married person, and adulthood, as we say it, it makes it difficult, man, to have that just us time. And it was interesting the way everything worked out for us, because what was I guess a curse. We had our normal babysitter, man, that is usually on point. Like she's punctual, never leaves us hanging. Everything's always perfect. And we had a really big important gala to go to, and we were supposed to be there at 6:30, and she calls us at 4 from another country, telling us that she's not going to be able to make it. And we went into panic mode, and called the whole world. And fortunately, we got a hold of one of my wife's cousins, and she canceled actually her plans, man, to help us out, which was really, really nice of them. But we were still going to have to drive across the city, which is going to take 40 minutes to drive one direction, 40 minutes to drive back. So I mean, depending what time we were going to be leaving this party, we were going to have to include that time to this travel, right? And so that was lingering in the back of our head. But we said, hey, who cares, if they're on the other side, as long as we've got this childcare. And so as we pull into the parking lot, and we make the deal there, and we exchange children, her husband says, hey guys, well, I mean, how about we'll keep the kids, man, like let them stay the night. So man, it was so interesting how just a couple of hours prior, it was the worst day. This had never happened to us before. She had always been dependable. And suddenly here we were in the even better situation, because now whatever we wanted to do afterwards, it was finally, time for my wife and I. And then, we were still gonna have to cut the night short or whatever. It ended at midnight. We wanted to go dancing after that or something. We couldn't do that anymore. But now here we were, here was a blessing now. So even at those worst times of your life, man, don't focus on that. Try to focus on the good. Make it work. And he's still there, man. He's still there to bless you. And so I don't believe it was luck. I think it was a blessing.
No, and I think it's part of being Hispanic, man. It's having the ability to be resourceful, right? Like, nunca se nos acaba el mundo.
Yeah.
When something starts to go wrong, like, we always find a way to use the resources that we have to pull through, man. So that's interesting, and I'm glad it worked out that way. We were out there too. It was fun. I had an amazing time too. So I'm just curious, did you guys at any moment feel overwhelmed where you figured, man, we're not gonna make it?
Oh, 100%. As a matter of fact, I called my neighbor, and
that bad, huh?
Yes. Called my neighbor. I was like, I don't know if you guys have plans, but I'm calling because this is the situation. And I said, I'm wondering if your daughter, if she babysits or not, and if you feel comfortable with her coming over, the kids going over.
How many phone calls did you make? How many people did you try?
Bro, I could show you my phone right now. I probably made 15 phone calls. As a matter of fact, we went so far back in our babysitting freaking Rolodex
portfolio.
Yeah, our Rolodex, that these kids are graduating Purdue already. Graduating Purdue, graduating LSU, and graduating Stanford, bro.
Wow.
And they're like, I really don't babysit anymore because I'm over in LSU, and the other ones I'm at Purdue. I'm like, oh my God. It was, and the thing is that at this point, man, like, My wife is already gone to get her hair done, already gone and gotten her makeup done. And
there's no turning back, bro.
There's no turning back. It was bad. It was bad. It was definitely a nail biter.
Well, you know what? I think if the listeners, and even, you know, myself included, if sometimes we would invest that type of energy, because you said you can look over my phone and I probably made 15 calls.
Yeah.
If we could invest that energy and that intensity into our business, there would be a world of a difference.
How productive would it be, man?
Man,
I'm telling you, bro. Whenever, as we call it, bro, and we're, you know, I think we started this show really reserved, but little by little we'll become more of who we are. And I'm a freaking Marine, bro. So I mean, there's gonna be shit that comes out, you know, we fucking say here. Right. So yeah, bro. When that fucking pucker factor like comes into effect, yeah, like it's, hey, how are we gonna get it done? You know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're right. If we put that amount of effort into our business, man, how far can we get, man? Like I said, you know, like I said, you know, last time, if we put as much focus as we do into other people's businesses, into our own business, if that's, you know, people's options out there, how far could you get, man? Like, fuck,
the sky's the limit for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I got a cool story. I've been thinking about this all weekend. I was even talking to Leslie about it yesterday when we went to the gym. And I got a haircut, as you can tell, man. I'm pretty fresh right now. So I went to my barber on Saturday, and he's a young entrepreneur himself, man. And, you know, I try to give him as much advice as I can as he's cutting me up to make our time worth it, right? Because how long do you spend with a barber?
Bro, 45 minutes, hour.
Yeah. So we were there, we were talking, and then there's this very popular video. It's a short going on social media, and it's Tim Grover, who was a very, very well-known trainer in the athlete industry.
Okay.
He's trained people like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, a bunch of big names, man, in the industry. So this clip talks about living a life of unbalance. Okay. He's like, people, high performers, people that really want to accomplish something in life, and he's speaking from an athlete standpoint, will ultimately live a life of unbalance. And he asked me, he's like, what do you think about that? Like, what is he trying to say? What does he mean? And it really, it made me think how many or how much like young entrepreneurs, like in their early 20s, are consuming a lot of content and lose perspective to things, right? Because it's only 30 seconds, maybe a minute.
Yeah.
So when they hear something like that, they're like, man, that means that I'm going to have to be working 9 days a week, 23 hours a day. And, I'm not going to see my kids if I have kids. I'm not going to be able to see the wife. My family is going to hate me. I'm going to lose all my friends. Like, they immediately go to this place of misery. Yeah. Right? And also they use it as an excuse. Yeah. Right? Like, there's no way I'm going to do this. It's too much.
Yeah, it's the deterrent. It deters them from the focus and the mission.
Yeah. So what do you think about now, how intense we've been working and trying to scale these businesses, take them to the next level. How do you feel about unbalance?
Well, what I think is that, there's a good analogy, right? Or a good question. How do you eat an elephant? If you had an elephant in front of you, how would you eat that elephant?
One bite at a time.
Exactly, man. So, if you were to consider, a drop of ink, and you take that ink and you drop it into a cap, right? Into a lid, right? It's only going to go so far. But if you drop that drop of ink into a gallon of water, it's now diluted itself, right? And you can barely tell it's in there. Right. So let's consider that focus. And so if you focus on a bunch of things, right? You're trying to focus on the final product, or you're trying to focus on everyone else's success, or how quickly they achieve the success, then you won't think of your small step as any success at all. So I think that if they focus just on that next step, on that next bite, I think they'll get a lot further, rather than focusing on that 30-second freaking video that showed them, how they went from nothing to having that Lamborghini, in 30 seconds, like, this is what I do, I can get you there. And they're like, man, well, I've been trying this for 4 months and I haven't gotten there. And it's like, yeah, bro, but in those 4 months, man, you got now 200 followers. Like, that's success right there in itself, And
it's interesting you say that, because 200 followers, right? Or even on a reel, people that are trying to build an online brand, 200 views on a reel. That's nothing to a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
They get upset.
Yeah.
But if you put things into perspective, look at a room. Let's say you have a room where you can fit 500 people,
mm-hmm.
and you literally got 200 people in there. If you look at it from that angle, you got 200 people in a room. Most people can't even get 10 people, 5 people in a room. So it's still attention. But when he asked me that question, I was like, you know what? I told him that, right? I was like, I think a lot of people get it twisted, man. They believe that living a life of unbalance, and for everybody's going to look different, right?
Yeah.
But I think some of the core principles are the same, but they believe, they immediately go to this lucrative life. I'm going to have to just wear myself out. In reality, in today's world, living a life of unbalance doesn't take much, just because people, in my opinion, settle for almost nothing, right?
Yeah.
Which is, living the 9 to 5. I want to be off on the weekends. Don't call me on a Saturday. Don't call me on a Sunday. When I get home, if you're married, I don't want you to bother me. I've been working all day, so I just want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix or scroll my life away.
Hey, if you want to do that, man, and that's your mindset, go work for somebody.
Yeah.
Go and get that less what's the word, the job that requires less of you.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna be any part of the higher echelon of your business, it's gonna take all your time. And and when I say all your time, is when you have plans and and there's a water leak at the store, and you've got to get out there to go and freaking shut off the water. You got to go and repair the leak. Then you turn into that plumber. You turn into the freaking janitor. You turn into the painter. You turn into all that stuff, man, because that's what it takes at the time. So you got to be flexible.
Yeah. So all in all, I'll just speak for myself. When I answered this question, I was like, look, man, this is the way unbalance looks for me. I think you can have a pretty good balance at home if you're intentional about your time.
Mm-hmm.
So I do live a very unbalanced life compared to the average.
Mm-hmm.
I wake up super early, so I'm up at 3. I'm out of the house by 3:30. I'm out of the gym by no later than 6:30. I'm out of there. I'm in the office, but every step of the moment, like every step of the process, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like I'm where my feet are. So if I'm waking up in the morning, taking a shower, getting my mind right, I'm there.
Yeah.
Getting my mind right, showing gratitude and praying and do what I do. If I'm driving and I'm listening to my audiobook, I'm there. I'm listening. I'm working out, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
I come to the office, I'm here. I'm present. 12 hours go by, 13 hours, 14 hours, whatever that takes. I get home, I'm present.
Yeah.
Whether it's 20 minutes, whether it's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever the case might be, you're there.
Yeah.
You're present.
But when there's a fire at freaking work, what do you got to do? What are you doing then, though? Yeah, well, if there's a fire at work and you got to go put it out,
I go.
You know, exactly.
I go. And my wife understands. Yeah. But we've laid out the ground rules, right? Yeah. And she knows if I have to go, I have to go.
Yeah.
And that's that. And interestingly enough, it's funny you bring that up, because I was going to talk about one thing we were talking about yesterday, Leslie and I, because for her, punctuality is a must.
Yeah, you mentioned that last week.
It's a must, man. You must show up. But when you're doing this, it's very hard, because time management is a big thing. And we've talked about it before. Time management is a big thing. But it just seems like every time you get things under control and you manage your time, then you realize that I have another 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Where am I going to invest that time, right? Because I need to keep growing. It doesn't mean I have everything under control and now I have an extra 30 minutes. Now I'm going to kick back.
Yeah.
No, I need to find something else to do. I need to be productive. And that usually, you know, if I got to be somewhere, let's say I got to pick up the kids at 4:30. I'll leave at 4. I always give myself a 30-minute window. Mm-hmm. In El Paso, that doesn't work. That usually puts me 5, 10, 15 minutes late, right? Yeah. And so we literally had a conversation about this yesterday as we were driving back from the gym. I was like, okay, we got to figure this out, because it gives me a lot of anxiety knowing that this really bothers you. So we need to talk about punctuality. And I told her, you need to understand that when I'm late, I will only be late if I'm at work. Yeah. If I'm at home, I won't be late. Like, I'm not going to put you off or anything that we have going on just because I was watching something on Netflix or watching a football game. Yeah. But if I'm at work, we need it. And then she asked me the question, okay, well, I'm going to put it on you. What's the window? She's like, you need to give me a time. What's the window? Like, how late can you be? She's like, but think about it before you answer, because once you give me the answer, I'm gonna hold you to it. Yeah. Right. But I'm trying to get rid of that anxiety, and the only way to get rid of the anxiety is to talk about it and to let her know. Like this, like when I'm driving and I know I'm late. Yeah. I'm freaking anxious. Like, man, I have to get there. You know, I'm trying to. I can get through traffic, and I don't want to be doing that, you know? So I said, okay, it will be no more than 20 minutes, but I'll try to keep it at 5. Yeah. Like no more than 5 minutes. Yeah. And she's like,
but you know, you're still going to have that anxiety though, right?
Yeah.
Like at 5 minutes, you're like, damn it, the 5 minutes have gone by. Yeah. You know, now I've got to make it by 20 minutes, man. Yeah. So you're still going to have that anxiety, bro.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not, man. I hate that. I hate that. And it's a thing. I have to respect her. You know, those are things. I think that's why our marriage continues to just grow and grow further together, because we have, as petty as that might be, right? Some people mean like, why are you guys even having to have a conversation about that? It's petty. But I think the secret's in the pettiness and just talking about every single little thing.
Bro, you couldn't be more right that communication is key in a marriage, man. And an understanding, right, on both parts has to be there. If we don't communicate in a marriage, man, you're not gonna have shit. You're not. If you communicate more with your homies than you do your wife, you're already wrong.
And oddly enough, that is one of the biggest issues we have in America today, is the inability to communicate with each other. It doesn't matter whether it's a business transaction or it's just a marriage or with your children. We're so deficient when it comes to communication. And it brings so many problems, man, because we don't know how to communicate. Yep. That's crazy.
And a big one, man, is our children. You know? Yeah. Our children are and I say this in like, fortunately it doesn't happen in my house. We don't do that on my children's aspect. So the ones that need to do the changing are myself and my wife. But on the children's aspect, you know, they're not on their phones. They don't have phones. They're not on their tablets. They're not on whatever other little, you know, different names there are for all those things. But they're not on those. They're playing with their toys. They're watching TV with us or something like that. But what I do want to get rid of and not be so attached to is my phone. So, many times, man, I catch myself being more into the conversation or the video that I'm seeing about something on Instagram than I am on listening to my child that's standing right in front of me. I'd rather tell my child to be quiet so that I can listen to this video that has nothing to do with me rather than listening to my child. And I kick myself in the ass a lot afterwards about little things like that, man, where I'm like, here I am watching some other family that's enjoying their time together, and I'm watching this situation that's playing out with their family while I'm putting my family to the side by not listening to my children.
And what steps or actions are you taking to get rid of that habit?
Well, I think that's part of the problem. I don't have that set yet, and I'll tell myself, that I need to stop, just like I'm kicking myself in the ass right now. But whenever it comes to the action part, there's no action. There isn't that. Let me put my phone up on the charger in my bedroom while we're downstairs, and therefore I don't have to worry about it. Even if the phone's on, like the ringer is on, usually my ringer's off because we're in business meetings or whatever. But if I'm at home, put my ringer on, and that way I know that if there is a call that comes through or something, that I can go and check it. But I'm not attached to it, and I'm scrolling Facebook or Instagram or any other social media. And I think just doing that alone gives me enough time to pay attention to my children, and I'm kicking myself in the ass right now because on top of it, my children, 2 of my children suffer from dyslexia, and it's pretty severe in one of them. The other one doesn't have it as severe, but I guess because we'll sit doing homework for like 3 hours, they'll get home at about 5:30, and from that time on we're doing homework, and we had dinner while doing homework, and
they got the homework dirty.
Yeah, there's spaghetti sauce on papers,
right.
and so I'm getting after them because they're making a mess of that.
Yeah.
And so then they finish doing their homework, and it's like, okay, now it's my turn to freaking watch, look at my phone. Instead of, well, now it's time for us time to actually enjoy this evening, or watch something together, or play a board game, or do something like that. I say it that way because I wasn't raised with board games. I hate board games. There's only a handful that I like, and anyway, so that should be the us time now, because homework's done with. So,
well, let's do it here. Let's develop it. What is, let's say, come up with a 3-step process to set out some ground rules, that will allow you to achieve that goal and be more intentional about spending time with your children and not spending so much time on your phone. What if you that know your life obviously better than anybody, and analyzing your day-to-day activities, because I understand we're busy. I get it. I get it. And sometimes I find myself, even out of just habit, it's a fucking habit that we have, where you just pick up the damn phone and you start scrolling.
It is a habit.
So it's just a darn habit.
Yep.
So if you had to analyze your life and your day, what would be a quick, because you have to make it easy too. It can't be this 10-step process that your mind and your brain have to get used to. It has to be something simple. Look, man, you know what? As soon as I open the door, I have 30 minutes to check up on last emails, maybe some phone calls. If I need to make a phone call, I need to make the phone calls quick. The people I talk to already know, hey, this is me. I only have 30 minutes to an hour. And then after that, my phone's going off. Like, we can't do this no more. I need to spend some time with my family. But it works different for everybody. For me, that usually works. And you've called me before, and I tell you, hey, we'll make it really quick just because I'm about to have dinner.
Yeah.
You know, and then I put the phone down because we make that agreement with each other. Like, we have, if we're here, if we're home, we're present.
Yeah.
We're here with each other. We're talking. How's your day? How was school? All that good stuff. So if you had to really analyze your life, what 3-step process you think you would develop in order to change that habit? Hold on to your thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had to put it in like 3 easy steps, I do it with my children all the time, and it works miracles. What would that be, man? What do you think we could change?
I don't know what my second or third step would be, but I'm thinking that my first step would be either, you know, walk in, take it upstairs, you know, as I get undressed and get comfortable, and, you know, put on house clothes or whatever, you know, put my phone on the charger and leave it upstairs.
Only under what circumstances would you answer the phone?
I guess if it's ringing, you know, if it's ringing, then I know that there's a phone call coming through, and then I can go upstairs and check it.
Would you go as far as laying out these ground rules or these rules of the game with, like, making it public to your family and letting them know?
Oh yeah, for sure.
They would hold your ass accountable. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, especially the kids.
Yeah.
Oh dude, the kids are bad. You know, something I've been thinking about and wanting to do is, you know how we get home, and I think I've mentioned this to you before as well. I wanna. You know how we get home and you put the keys on the little key holder. Mm-hmm. We used to have this one little key holder that right above it had a section, like a little cubby, so that you could put, I don't know, your wallet or something on top, your portfolio or something up on top. Well, I wanna do something like that when we get home, and at the entrance there, be able to grab your phone and put your phone in it.
Yeah.
And I've said, you know, we need one of these on every one of the doors, man. We need one on the shitter, because when people go to the shitter, man, the reason why they're spending 45 minutes in there is because they're entertained by their freaking phone.
Yeah.
And it would make the process faster. You would spend more time with your family. You spend more time doing other things that are probably more productive than sitting there on your phone freaking scrolling.
And for those who say that they're intolerable to pain, how painful is it to fucking sit down in the shitter for 45 minutes to an hour and your freaking legs are asleep? You've tried every fucking trick in the book. You hit your thighs and you move from one side to the other. But how powerful is addiction? Because that's really all that it is. Yeah. It's an addiction. It's a dopamine hit that we get every single time we scroll. Here's a new video, and the algorithm knows you so well. If you notice, like every 4 videos, it'll hit you with one that you like. It knows what you like, so it'll get you some bullshit for like 2 or 3, and then the 4th one, boom, it gives you one, and then you're hooked. All right, we're done. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Boom, they hit you with another one. Yeah. So it's an addiction, man. That's really all that it is.
Like, you know, the vision I have is like, you know, those file folders or file holders that are outside offices that you can go up to, and you put the file on the door, and that way you go to your office and you're able to see the file. Something like that. So if somebody out there ends up creating this, man, just send me residual income. I don't care how much it is, but send me some residual income my way just for putting the thought out. But I want one of these on every door. I think it would be a lot easier, right? If you know that your children are going to bed, they don't have the phone on. You don't have to worry about them being on their phone, not going to sleep. Because boom, you pass by and you see, okay, the phones are all there, we're good to go. And I think it's the same thing for us. You put your phone in there, and I mean, you can even make it as far as going to where there's a charging port inside, and you can charge your phone while it's there.
And that's the only charger available too.
Yeah.
That way, there's no other chargers, so you have to put your phone in there.
Yeah.
and that's the only way you get your phone charged. So
yeah, I mean, if you want to go as far as even saying, hey, right, they say that the electromagnetic fields and this and that, and how bad it is for you, or radioactive,
to
or
sleep by
whatever,
have it by your side.
because it's right beside you.
Yeah.
Hey, put it at your freaking door, man. So somebody out there creates this, man. Like I said, please just send me some residual income.
Brothers from another mother. That's what you gotta think about.
Yeah.
Well, moving on, man. So it's interesting. We're talking about habits, and I'll ask you next time we see each other and see how you're doing. I would advise you make it known to the family that this is how it's going to be working, and be intentional about it, man. Because once you say it out loud, the universe knows, He knows, and He's going to hold you to it. Your family's going to hold you to it, and it's all about being better, right? It's all about changing and making some headway into, really obtaining that higher version and that best version of ourselves. So that's the only way we can. I like to say it. The humans naturally don't like change. The only humans who like change are babies, and that's when they have a wet diaper, man. Other than that, we hate change, but man, that's if we really want to obtain some sort of success, we have to change. Yeah. So from this book that I'm reading, Psycho-Cybernetics, one of the chapters has to do with habits, and we were talking about habits right now. So, man, everything we do, down to the way we put our shoes on in the morning, is habit. Think about how you put your shoes on. Do you do the right shoe first or the left shoe first?
I do the right shoe first.
Every time. And you lace your shoelaces the same way. We always brush your teeth, whether you're righty or lefty. And you don't even think about these things. It's it's just natural instinct. Like, we do them. And I was reading that the word habit derives from garment. So a habit is like a garment being applied to your personality. Just like we wear our clothes, a piece of garment to cover our body.
But I've never thought that those two words came from the same place.
Me either. And I had to read it. I actually have it here. And I had to read it a few times because at first I was like, how the hell is habit, right? Derive from the word garment. Where is it here? Happy or so. Here we are. Okay. Yeah, it says how to learn the happiness habit. How to learn the happiness habit. Our self-image and our habits tend to go together. Change one and you will automatically change the other. The word habit originally meant garment or clothing. We still speak of reading habits and habiliments. They give us an insight into true nature of habit. Our habits are literally garments worn by our personalities. They are not accidental or happenstance. We have them because they fit us. They are consistent with our self-image and our entire personality pattern. When we have consciously and deliberately developed new and better habits, our self-image tends to outgrow the old habits and grow into a new pattern.
That's really interesting.
I had never thought about it that way, but it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because everything that we do is out of habit. So it was interesting that we were talking about trying to get rid of it, and they always say if you want to get rid of an old habit, create a new habit. Yeah. Right? That's the only way you're going to be able to get rid of an old tendency or a habit that you want to get rid of. So I figured it worked out that way, right? That we were talking about getting rid of this habit of getting home and being on the freaking phone all the damn time.
But it's interesting because even our subconscious mind, man, at rest, now that we started waking up at 3 a.m, at 2:50, boom, I'm like, what time is it? Oh shit, man, it's 2:50. Like, I was wanting to wake up at 3. You could have given me those 10 minutes, but I don't know why. But here I am now at freaking 2:50 waking up. So it's interesting. and that's my new habit, you know. But that's really interesting. But you know, I mean, a lot of times, right? People go to special people to help them with their wardrobe, you know. Oh, I want to get a new fit, you know. Oh, I got you, you know. And here they are taking all these classes with people and stuff, and so yeah, that's really interesting. So,
yeah, but once you understand the power of habit,
yeah,
then that's another key in your keychain that unlocks the next level, right? That you understand only and if you get all of your habits under control, then you can start making some headway. Then you can start gaining some traction. Then you can start really propelling forward and starting to reach those goals that you set for yourself. But if you don't even understand the simple science behind habits and how much of an impact they have in everything that we do, man, like everything that we do. And I asked this to Leslie one time: would you have rather had parents that would encourage you or parents that were petty? What would you rather have?
I'd rather have parents that encourage me.
And I told her, I said, me too in the beginning. But the secret, in my opinion, is in the pettiness. Okay. Because you pay attention to the smallest detail. Let me ask you a question. How, like table manners, for example.
Okay.
Are you big on table manners?
Yes.
How many people do you think are big on table manners?
I don't think many people are.
I've been out in you know, public areas, and you can tell, right? I was lucky enough to have parents, my mom, that was petty enough to tell me, close your mouth when you eat. Okay, don't be putting your elbows on the table. You know, don't be hunchback. Quítate la cachucha. Don't come to the table if you haven't showered. Like, my mom was petty enough to teach me all those things.
Yeah.
And when I you know, because when I told that to Leslie in the beginning, she told me the same thing. Man, I wish I had more encouraging parents, because I think naturally children are very thirsty for that. We're very thirsty for encouragement. But I'm glad that my mom was petty. She was encouraging too. Don't get me wrong. She was very encouraging, but she was also very petty. She might not have seen it that way. You know, to her it's just, I'm just educating my children. But those small adjustments go way further. You know, because you can start to see even those small things set you apart from the average person.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah.
So, moving on to the rules of the game. We had a very hard conversation last week about the rules of the game, right? What is your take on the rules of the game of entrepreneurship?
Man, I don't know.
So remember I was saying, like, especially in your role as chief marketing officer, in order for you to operate to the best of your abilities, what do you think are some habits that you have to develop in order to become the 1% within the industry?
Definitely set like I need to set when I need to have this. I need to have something done by. So I need to give myself an end date. You know, a deadline. Okay, hey, this deadline is this day, and work on it and get it done by then. I think I need to set everything up as a deadline. That way, I know when it's crunch time, or if something comes up in between, I know that, you know, then this other particular day I need to do more because I've got something that came up on that following day. So my deadline is still, it's, you know, if it was done 2 days prior to my deadline, then hey, we're good. You know, it's not a that's a good thing, but definitely set deadlines on things.
And I'm really trying to extract for the listeners, because there might be somebody in your position and in my position as well, right, where they might have just landed this very great opportunity where now, you know, you're the chief marketing officer of a company that is up and coming and is scaling, but definitely in the marketing aspect of things, is very new, you know, to that. So it's about being raw right here. So what I'm trying to do is extract an answer that's going to give value to that person that just started too. You know, like, yes, I have a lot of experience. Obviously, you know, you were in the Marine Corps. Te gustaba cantar, chirolita, que te aventaste el otro día. Estaba fregona. Ahora se las presentamos aquí. You know, you were in the Border Patrol. You know, you went to culinary school. You ran multiple businesses in the past. You have a good resume. You know, just for, you know, to use it as a frame of reference. It's a good resume. Yeah. But you're new to this role as chief marketing officer. So with, you know, these past 5 months and everything that you've learned up till now, what are some things that maybe you would do different, or what are some things that you're going to continue to do the same way, that could bring that value, you know, to the listener?
Well, that is a very important one. Setting a deadline for any project you have. Set that deadline. Be okay with not knowing something, because not.
So don't be afraid to say I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you don't voice that, you're gonna stay. How do I say it? It's gonna be a lot more difficult to accomplish whatever task it is that you need to do, because you're not familiar with it, you know. But if you open yourself up to be vulnerable in that aspect, then someone else might be able to give you a hand with that and teach you this. And instead of you having this anxiety and procrastinating on something because
you don't want to say I don't know,
because you don't want to say that you don't know, then you don't have to deal with that. You know, you wouldn't have to worry about it because you said, hey, I don't know how to do this, and now they give you that help. Now you know how to do it. And you just saved yourself a bunch of stress.
But how many times, or if at all, do you feel like the fear of making a mistake makes your brain believe that you don't know or you can't do it?
Oh man, the majority of the time.
Would you consider that to be a good, like, quality to have, being afraid to make mistakes?
No, and that's something we talked about before as well. And I think it sets us up, like, I think school sets us up for that, because in school you don't have the opportunity to be wrong. You know, you take a test, you miss certain answers, and you're graded, and that's it. You know. You have to suffer the consequences of that failing grade that you got. But in reality, like in entrepreneurship or in life and work,
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, man. And here, if you don't know something and you look it up, you're looking up the answer to that question you have, right? We all do it. We're sitting here. We don't know how to do something on an Excel spreadsheet or something. And hey, let me look it up real quick. All right, okay, this is what I got to do. Okay, equals sum, this, that, and we're good. Imagine if we had the opportunity if we were back in school and we get to question number 6 and what was this? And we said, okay, let me Google it real quick. Boom. I mean, we'd all have passing grades, man, but that's what life is really like. Mm-hmm. You have to put in a little bit of effort, but you still have to put in effort.
Right.
So in life, in reality, it's not the way it was back in high school, man. So ask somebody. If you have a question, freaking look it up. If there's somebody else that was doing the job prior to you, don't have the freaking pride to not go ask that person because you have too much pride, and instead you want to figure it out on your own. You might realize actually at the end, whenever you're finished doing what you were set to do, the task that you were going to do, you might still have it wrong. So it's better just to ask and say, hey, I don't know how to do this. And then you might have that person that says, I was doing this before, so this is how you do it. And you're like, okay, well, great. Now I know how to do it and I can move on. So yeah, definitely using the people around you to figure things out, especially when you're actually that goes for anything, man. I mean, if almost any part of your job, right? I mean, if you don't know where the fucking printer's at, hey, well, where the fucking printer's at? You're not gonna walk around the freaking building, going to every freaking floor, peeking in every office to find where the fucking printer's at. Where's the printer? It's over there in that corner. All right, good to go. Now I can get there. So I don't know, if you just think about it with that approach in anything, hey, I'm not familiar with this, and be comfortable enough with yourself to say, hey, you know what? I asked you once. I don't expect to ask you twice where the printer is, because I already know this now. So, hey, how do you do this? Oh, okay. Well, this is how I was doing it before. Good to go. Thanks. Appreciate it.
And that's where a lot of people, again, they might even take this message out of perspective because they think that they can just sometimes even ask the same question 5 times, So I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but come on.
Yeah, you got to go talk to a mental health provider or something
at that point. At that point, it's like, okay.
And that's okay too.
Yeah, because, hey, Renee, I can send over from brothers from another mother told me it's all right, man. I could just ask it. Oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah,
Yes, but we have to put a little more intention, a little more action behind the question.
Yeah.
And if you have a hard time remembering, write shit down.
Yeah,
I can't stress that enough. I've said it multiple times. Look, I'm guilty of that, and because I know that, I just write shit down so that I don't forget and I don't find myself in that situation, calling someone and asking the same question for the 5th time. Come on, man! Yeah. Like, you didn't care when you called me the first time. That's really what it shows. You're being careless. But yeah, so. I wanted to, touch a little more on that conversation that we had, because I find myself having to have this conversation multiple times with, multiple or various leaders in the company. Mm-hmm. When we talk about the rules of the game, right? And when we have these conversations, they feel like, I'm trying to be demeaning, mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to ruffle their feathers, but it's really not at all what it is, and I figured out the best way to explain it is it's a game, and just like you have athletes playing at the elite level, NFL, NBA, MLB, entrepreneurship is the same thing. You're playing at the elite level. That's why when the fruits come in, the multiples are big.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, think about how much these players, these major league players, these elite athletes, how much money do they make?
Man, millions.
Same applies to entrepreneurship, So the way I think about it is when I wake up in the morning, what is the CEO of Circle K doing right now? What's the CEO of Speedway doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
I hope he's laying on his ass.
Yeah.
I really hope that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming after him.
Yeah.
And when I'm trying to drive someone to do a little bit more, to be unbalanced, which in reality you're just working a little bit harder,
yeah,
is to understand the people that are playing this game are freaking going to run over your ass.
Yeah.
If you don't show up, if your mind is not right, and if you don't put in the work, they're gonna run over your ass.
Yeah, yeah. You can't become complacent in this job. If you've got it going, man, and you're letting off the pedal, you're gonna stay behind. And we gave the analogy about the trees. We gave several analogies last week, and I'm we can take a big chain, for example, if McDonald's let off the pedal, what would happen to McDonald's? Everything's growing, and if McDonald's let off the pedal and they didn't continue to get more property in new area, then they're going to stay behind. And so we can't you can't be doing that. You've got to keep the pedal to the freaking floor and keep going every day. Wake up. And you got to wake up before the guy from McDonald's. You got to wake up before the guy from Circle K. At least in your mind, right? You have to be working harder, man. Those that work harder succeed more in life.
Yeah. And I think Steve Harvey says it, that for the people that are mountain time, he's like, when you wake up at 8, it's already 10, 11 o'clock in New York. The stock market's opened up.
Yeah.
And you're barely waking up.
You're 2 hours behind.
2 hours behind.
Yep.
You're 2 hours behind. And yeah, so you're exactly right. I mean, we keep seeing Circle K's pop up in every corner.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, it gets you frustrated, and you're like, man, like these guys are taking up, all the corners.
But
and
fucking do something about it, though.
Exactly.
Do something about it.
Exactly.
You can't be fucking pissed.
No.
Pissed off isn't gonna get you anywhere, man.
No.
Pissed off ain't gonna get you shit. So you gotta freaking get off your ass and freaking do something about it, man. You gotta put the action to the freaking thought. You thinking that you need to fucking do something? Well, get off your fucking ass and do it.
But where does the mind go immediately when we think about, where am I going to get the money? Where am I going to find the property? Which broker am I going to talk to? Who's going to build it? Who's the architect? Who's the engineer? What about taxes? It's just too much.
Hey, yeah, you're thinking about too much. Let's think about get off the fucking bed. Okay, all right, I'm off the bed. Now what am I going to do? Well, freaking drive to the side of town that you need to be on, or make the first phone call. Call somebody and say, hey, I need you to find property in that area. Start putting some action to the freaking the want. You have a want. What are you gonna do? So yeah, for sure.
So yeah, and that just shows you the power of the mind, and how everything we do is out of habit. How everything we do has to do with our mindset, our skill set, and our habits, right? Because when somebody presents you with a new opportunity, your mind immediately goes to, it's going to be too hard. I'm not going to be able to do that, and I'm not meant for that. All the excuses in the book immediately come up, and that's a mindset issue, and that's where it starts, right? It's first you got to get the mind right, because, man. I remember that night. I used to be part of Brad Lee's mastermind group, and I was actually, I think it was like the third call, and I was doing it here in the office, and Oscar was right in the office, in the other office over there, and I had him popped up on the TV, so I'm excited, this is the third call. Let's go. We're gonna ask some questions, and I asked him about objections, because he's a sales guru, right? So I asked him about objections, and it took me like 5 minutes to get that question out. Finally, he got upset and he's like, "Hey, just ask the damn question," you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we're a small business. And as soon as I said small business, bro,
He was like, negative.
he stopped me right there.
Yep.
Hey, who said you have a small business? What qualifies you as a small business? That's a mindset problem. You need to change your mindset. You need to stop telling everybody that you have a small business. You need to walk into the room like you own it and walk out of there like you sold it. And Oscar walked out of the office and his face was red, bro. His face was like a tomato because he was mad. Who the fuck is that guy talking to you like that? But ever since I had that conversation with this man,
Yep.
I was like, I never, ever want to hear anybody fucking say that we run a small shop.
Yep.
We're a big business.
Yep.
We act like it. We walk like it. We treat it as such.
Yep.
Who says? You. You are the one that determines how big the business is.
Yeah.
So he taught me a lot about the rules of the game. I asked him that question. You know, I have some issues with the partners where, you know, I'm very driven. I really want to go to the next level, but it just feels like the energy is never matched. And I want to get rid of that, man. Like, I really want people within the leadership group to understand that we just have to be a little more intentional. We got to push a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, you know?
Yeah.
So he told me, rules of the game, man.
Bro, sometimes you got to ruffle feathers, man. And the only time that we use the word small is... actually, the only time we use the word small in the fucking Marine Corps is aim small, miss small, man. But if you want to freaking focus on aiming on something small, then go ahead. Freaking call it small all you want. But and in a target, you know, you're looking at freaking third button on somebody's fucking shirt, you know, and
But how far away are they?
yeah, well, that's the thing, you know, we're focusing on the third freaking button, man. That's where I'm gonna put that freaking round. And but we know you're aiming on something small, man. Now aim for something big and freaking consider it big and consider yourself big and able and get out there and put action to words, man. Do it, and it'll get done.
That's why. Yeah, and that's why I love that what's the acronym? It's not an acronym, but what do they say? Aim, or what is it? Aim, ready, aim, fire, right?
Yeah.
So, but instead, you have to rewire your brain to ready, fire, aim. So you get ready, you fire, you miss, readjust.
Yeah.
You miss, readjust. You miss, readjust. Because a lot of people get stuck in the aiming.
Yeah.
They're just aiming. I'm going to shoot. I'm aiming. Let me adjust. The wind. Let me adjust. I forgot the caliber. I need to readjust.
Bro, do you think that Steve Jobs knew if he would have been aiming for all of it, for having a cell phone, for having a freaking a computer system, for having all this, he'd have never gotten started in his freaking garage, you know? Yeah. He if he'd have focused on, I need to have all these huge corporations and huge offices and huge all this, then he'd never started in his garage, because he'd have said, oh, well, I have to have all this first. No, just get started, period. Take that first step. And don't lose focus, man. Like, stay on it.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, it was a great conversation. It definitely feels good to do this on a Monday too, because waiting until Friday, it's too long, man.
I agree. So now we'll be doing 2 a week. Now we got to bust our ass and freaking get everything else done.
Yeah.
And
I wish we could stay here for another 45 minutes, but we got to go.
Yeah. But at the same token, like, you know, our conversations, like, guys, we're really applying our conversations. Like, we really do this. We really do wake up at 3 a.m. I am at the gym at 3:30 in the morning. You know, we are fathers, we are husbands, we are friends. We are all those. We're all, you know, sons and children of others, and so all of our experience is what we're putting on the line here, and what we're talking to you about. Everything that we're talking about is coming from our hearts. So, you know, I hope that you guys are all getting something from the mistakes that I've made in life so that you guys can get ahead in life. So, you know, guys, stick to it, man. Really appreciate you guys. Without you guys knowing, like, we really appreciate you guys starting to watch our videos, man. And we hope to grow with you guys. I can't wait till we start seeing, like, you know, emails and text messages and all this stuff start coming in about how our trials and tribulations, man, really, like, how our troubles or how our mistakes are helping others out, man, because we got to learn from that, man. We have history to learn from in school so that we don't make those fuck ups all over again. And it's whenever we don't focus on our history that we start to freaking drift the same direction, man. We fuck up all over again. So if we can help each other learn from each other's mistakes, man, how many less mistakes would you make? Yeah. Like, we're telling you, hey, this route is compensated. I mean, this route isn't gonna work. You know, I mean, this corner is really good. It's not gonna work. He's got to do this. Boom, he does it. The ball's there. Like, it's like it's like a high school quarterback not listening to Tom Brady. And I'm not saying we're above anyone, but I'm saying, like, if our mistakes are gonna help you thrive, make your life better, then awesome. And I can't wait till we go live, you know, and we start talking to these guys. And now we've got not only our own experience, but other people's experience and their mistakes that we're going to freaking learn off of. And whenever we start having guests here and they start telling their stories and how they became who they are now and all their mistakes that they've made in life, is going to be even more help for everyone, man. So I'm really excited. Thank you guys for freaking watching us, listening in. And we're here for the journey as well, man. So can't wait to see you guys next time.
Absolutely. And with that being said, guys, whatever your goals are, go after them, and do not listen to the naysayers.
Yep.
Make sure to follow us, subscribe, share, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And until next time, peace.
Peace.